Commissioner Gordon, Bane has escaped.
You must understand that the life you are leading right now is a slow theft of the greatness you were meant to achieve. Every day you accept a routine that does not challenge you is a day you are choosing to let your best self die in the dark. You are currently trading your limited time on Earth for a comfort that offers no real reward and no lasting pride. This way of existing is a trap that keeps you small while the world moves on toward a future you are not helping to build. You cannot keep living like this because your spirit was not designed to be a spectator in a world that needs your unique force. The simple truth is that you are either rising toward your potential or you are slowly fading into a memory that no one will remember. The pain of staying exactly where you are is becoming greater than the pain of the effort required to finally change your direction. You feel this weight in your chest every morning when you wake up and realize that nothing has moved forward since the sun went set. This is not a mystery or a streak of bad luck, but the direct result of choosing the easy path over the necessary one. You have been waiting for a sign or a feeling to move you, when you should have been moving yourself through the power of your own will. The cost of your hesitation is a life that feels like a heavy burden rather than a powerful adventure of your own making. You must decide today that you will no longer tolerate a version of yourself that is afraid to work for a legacy. Your current habits are like chains that you have placed on your own hands because you were afraid of what you might do if you were truly free. You have learned to find safety in the very things that are holding you back from the success and the influence you crave. This is a simple trick of the mind that prefers a known misery over an unknown victory in a new and different landscape. To break free, you do not need a complex plan, but a simple and firm refusal to do the things that make you weak and distracted. You must start viewing your old life as a prison and your new discipline as the only key that can set you on the path to sovereignty. By making this choice, you are finally taking the first real step toward a life that actually matters to you and the world. Stop telling yourself that you have plenty of time to get serious about your goals, because the clock is a predator that never stops hunting. Every minute you spend on things that do not move you forward is a minute you have permanently deleted from the masterpiece of your existence. You are currently acting as if you have 1,000 years to live when in reality your window of opportunity is closing faster than you think. This sense of urgency should not make you panic, but it should make you act with a cold and focused intensity that ignores all minor noise. You cannot live forever, and you certainly cannot live like this forever if you want to leave a name that carries any weight at all. The time to start building your empire is not tomorrow, but right now in the very second you are breathing. The people you spend your time with are either helping you build a monument or they are helping you dig a grave for your own ambition. You must look at your circle with a cold and objective eye and ask if they are pushing you to be more or pulling you back to be less. If you are surrounded by people who celebrate your mediocrity, you will eventually become exactly like them and lose your edge for good. It is better to walk alone toward a mountain peak than to walk with a crowd into a valley of common and quiet desperation. This social isolation is the price of admission to a life of true impact, and it is a price you must be willing to pay without any regret. Your path is your own, and you cannot expect those who are comfortable to understand why you are choosing the hard work. Your mind is a tool that has become dull because you have stopped using it for the deep and difficult tasks that require total concentration. You have allowed the world to fragment your focus with cheap entertainment and useless information that adds nothing to your value as a leader. To reclaim your power, you must return to the simple practice of doing one hard thing at a time with your entire being until it is finished. This focus is the only superpower that matters in a world that is obsessed with the shallow and the fast and the temporary. When you can stay present and work on a single objective for hours, you are operating on a level that most people can no longer reach. This discipline is the foundation of a mind that is capable of building a future that others will only dream about. You must learn to love the silence of the solitary work and the cold feeling of a plan that is being executed with perfect and silent accuracy. There is no need for applause or validation when you know that you are moving toward the life you have intentionally designed for yourself. Most people are addicted to the praise of others, but you must be addicted to the results of your own labor and the growth of your character. When you stop looking for a witness to your effort, you find a type of freedom that allows you to be absolutely honest with your own performance. This internal standard is what creates a person of substance who can stand firm when the world tries to push them off their chosen path. You are building a fortress of self-reliance that will protect you through the storms of uncertainty and change. The excuses you have been using to justify your current state are nothing more than lies you tell yourself to avoid the responsibility of being great. You say you are tired, or that the timing is wrong, or that you lack the resources to start the mission you know you must complete. These stories are a comfort to your ego, but they are a death sentence for your potential and your ability to leave a mark. You must look at these lies with a cold and detached mind and recognize them for the barriers they truly are to your personal success. Once you stop making excuses, you are left with the simple reality that the only thing stopping you is your own willingness to do the work. This honesty is painful, but it is the only fire that can burn away the old you and create the new one. You do not have new ideas because you have stopped feeding your mind with the deep wisdom found in books. Reading is the act of downloading the best thoughts of history into your own brain to expand what you believe is possible for your life. Without this input, you are simply recycling the same old thoughts that have kept you stuck in the same place for years. You must treat your reading as a vital supply of raw material for the future you are trying to build. If you ignore the books of the masters, you are choosing to stay ignorant and small in a world that rewards the sharp and the informed. You cannot explain your vision because you refuse to do the hard work of writing down your thoughts every single day. Writing is the only way to force your brain to organize its mess into a clear and logical plan that you can actually execute. When you do not write, your ideas remain vague and useless, like a mist that disappears as soon as the sun comes up. You must use the pen to perform surgery on your own mind and cut away the confusion that keeps you from acting with total certainty. By skipping this practice, you ensure that your potential remains a secret that even you do not fully understand or control. An idea has no value if you do not have the courage to take it out of your head and build something in the real world. You cannot leverage a thought that remains a dream because the world only pays for results and tangible proof of your skill. Building is the ultimate test of your character because it forces you to face the friction of reality and the limits of your own current power. Most people just talk about what they could do, while you must be the person who actually produces the work. Without the act of creation, your ideas are just ghosts that make you feel busy while your life remains exactly the same. Your mind is a digestive system for reality, and it needs a balance of taking in knowledge and putting out work to stay healthy. If you learn too much without doing anything, you become mentally overweight, and your brain starts to feel heavy and slow. This mental load leads to a constant state of anxiety, because you know you are not using the gifts you have been given. You must learn to process every new piece of information by turning it into a small win or a new system for your day. By letting your ideas flow out of you and into your work, you clear the path for even better thoughts to arrive. To build an impressive body, you must eat the right food and train with a level of intensity that scares the average person. It is a massive mistake to think this same rule of quality input and hard output does not apply to your mental life as well. Your mind needs high-grade information and difficult challenges to reach its peak capacity for strategic thought and leadership. If you feed your brain digital junk food, you cannot expect it to produce a life that carries any weight or commands any respect. You must treat your mental training with the same seriousness that an elite athlete treats their physical prep for a world title. When you have nothing meaningful in your head, you will naturally look for the cheap distractions that the world offers to the bored. Boredom is a warning sign that your mind is hungry for a mission that is worthy of your energy and your time. If you do not fill your head with ideas that inspire you to build something great, you will be consumed by the noise of the crowd. This leads to a life where you are just a consumer of other people's dreams instead of a creator of your own. You must be the one who picks the thoughts that will guide your rise to the top of your chosen field. If you never bring your ideas to life through the act of creation, they will eventually vanish and leave you with nothing to show for your years. Because you still need to survive, you will be assigned a job you hate, working for people you do not respect. You will spend your life building their empire, while your own potential is left to rot in the corner of your mind. This is the tragedy of the person who was too afraid to act on their own vision and chose the safety of a paycheck instead. You were meant to be the architect of your own work and the master of your own time and your own destiny. The overwhelm you feel is caused by a mind that wants to produce greatness but is being blocked by your own hesitation and fear. Your ideas want to flow out like a river, but you have built a wall of excuses that stops any real progress from happening. You must break this wall by allowing yourself to start small and move fast without waiting for the perfect moment to arrive. This release of energy is the only way to stop the internal friction that makes you feel tired and stuck in your current life. When you let the ideas flow into your work, you find a sense of peace and a focus that is required for success. A clear mind is the result of a simple life where you learn with purpose and you create with an unrelenting drive for excellence. You cannot stay in a state of constant consumption without losing your ability to think for yourself and lead others. By reading and writing and building, you are creating a cycle of power that makes you an unstoppable force in any room you enter. This is the formula for a life that is defined by what you do rather than by what you just think about doing. You are taking full responsibility for your mind, which is the only way to secure your long-term status and your personal freedom. You possess more raw potential today than a massive corporation from a few decades ago. The old barriers that required a large staff and a heavy budget have been destroyed by the tools you carry in your pocket. In the past, a person needed permission and capital to reach a global audience or to build a complex product. Now the internet has leveled the field so that your success is limited only by your own focus and your willingness to act. You are holding the power of a giant, but you are still thinking with the mind of a small worker. It is time to realize that your individual capacity to create and influence is at an all-time high. The internet is a vast ocean of knowledge that allows you to learn any high-level skill for free or at a very low cost. You no longer need to wait for a teacher or a school to give you the information you need to start your journey toward greatness. Every strategy and every blueprint used by the most successful people in history is available for you to download and apply to your own life. If you remain unskilled, it is not because the knowledge is missing, but because you have not yet decided to be a student of excellence. This access to information is the greatest gift of our age, and it removes every valid excuse for staying in a state of ignorance. Social media is the ultimate leverage that allows you to speak directly to the entire world without needing a middleman to approve your message. You can find your tribe and build a following and sell your ideas to people on the other side of the planet with a single click. This reach is a type of power that kings of the past would have fought wars to obtain for their own kingdoms. If you are not using this leverage to build your brand or your business, you are leaving your greatest weapon on the shelf to gather dust. You must learn to communicate with clarity and intent so that the world has no choice but to notice your value. Artificial intelligence has arrived to give you the ability to automate the boring tasks that used to take up all your time. You can now use digital tools to do the work of a designer and a writer and an analyst in a fraction of the time it once took. This means you can spend your energy on the big ideas and the high-level strategies that actually change the course of your life. You are essentially a one-person army with a fleet of digital soldiers ready to follow your every command at any hour of the day. This technology has removed the need for a large team and placed the power of production firmly in your own hands. I find it very hard to believe that you are so special that you cannot get what you want out of this life given the tools you have. Most people use their unique problems as a shield to protect them from the hard truth that they are just not working hard enough. You are living in a time of infinite opportunity, where the only real gatekeeper is the person you see when you look in the mirror. To say that you cannot succeed is to lie to yourself about the reality of the world and the resources that are currently at your feet. You must drop the victim story and start acting like the powerful creator that you were always meant to be. The only thing that is truly stopping you is the mental friction you feel when it is time to do the difficult work that matters. You have the tools of a god, but you are still acting like a servant who is waiting for someone to give them a task to complete. This way of thinking is a leftover from an old system that no longer controls your potential or your future unless you let it. You must break free from the need for a boss or a guide and start leading yourself toward the objectives you have set. When you take full ownership of your power, you will see that the path to victory is much shorter than you once thought. Consistency is the only way to prove that you are worthy of the massive leverage that has been granted to you by this era. You cannot expect to win if you only work when you feel like it or when the weather is perfect for your mood. The tools of the future require a person who is disciplined enough to use them every single day until the job is done. Every hour you spend building your skills is an hour you are moving away from the crowd and toward the top of your field. You must be willing to outwork everyone else because the world is now your competition and only the best will rise. You are living in the most prosperous time in human history, and you have more access to wealth and power than any generation before you. The resources that are available to you for almost nothing would have been considered miracles by the people who lived just 100 years ago. You have no reason to be bored or anxious or stuck when you are standing in the middle of a digital gold mine. This realization should make you move with a sense of urgency that borders on a total obsession with your own growth. You must treat your life as a precious chance to see how far a single person can go when they use everything they have. The fear of making a mistake is a waste of your time because the cost of failing in the digital world is almost zero today. You can try 100 different ideas, and if 99 of them fail, you only need one to work to change your entire life forever. This low risk means that you should be experimenting and building and launching things as fast as you possibly can to find what sticks. The only real way to lose is to sit on the sidelines and watch other people take the territory that could have been yours. By moving fast and learning from every result, you ensure that your progress is steady and your victory is certain. Your life is the result of how you choose to use the power that has been placed in your hands by the modern age. You must decide right now that you will no longer settle for a small life when you have the capacity to build a great one. The tools are ready and the path is open for anyone who has the heart to take the first step and keep going. You are the master of your own destiny and the builder of your own legacy in a world that is waiting for you to lead. By taking command of your life, you are fulfilling the requirements of a journey that leads to true mastery and freedom. This is how you change your reality and become the person you were always meant to be. Maturity is the calm realization that the majority of your path to greatness is spent on a long and silent plateau. Most people live for the sudden rush of a big win or the loud applause of the crowd, but those moments are rare and fleeting. The true substance of your life is built in the quiet months, when it feels like nothing is changing despite your hard work. If you do not learn to find a deep peace in the daily repetition of your craft, you will eventually lose your mind to the boredom. You must realize that the plateau is the actual laboratory where your future success is being engineered one small step at a time. When you fail to fall in love with the practice, you start to see your work as a heavy burden that you need to escape. This mental trap leads you to hunt for cheap stimulation through digital noise or shallow drama that gives you a quick hit of excitement. These escapes are dangerous because they make you feel like you are moving while you are actually standing in the exact same spot. You are trading the chance to build a legendary legacy for a few minutes of relief that leaves you feeling empty and tired. Real maturity is accepting that the quiet grind of the plateau is the only way to reach the elite level of performance. Mastery requires a level of patience that is almost gone in a world that demands instant results for every minor effort you make. You must train your mind to focus on moving the needle forward by just a tiny fraction every single day, no matter how you feel. This steady progress is the only way to build a foundation that is strong enough to hold the weight of your biggest and most ambitious dreams. When you are on the plateau, you are not stuck, but you are gathering the power and the skill needed for your next jump. If you quit now because you are bored, you are telling the world that you are not worthy of the heights you want. The trap of busy work is a deceptive way that people try to hide from the feeling of being stuck on a plateau. You fill your day with small tasks and long meetings that make you feel important, but do not actually help you master your primary skill. This type of activity is just a fancy way of wasting time while avoiding the difficult and focused work that actually changes your life. You must be honest enough to look at your daily schedule and ask if you are truly improving or just running in place. Maturity is the ability to cut out the noise and stay focused on the very few things that move the needle. Falling in love with the practice means that you no longer need a reward at the end of the day to keep you moving forward. You begin to enjoy the feeling of the work itself and the quiet pride that comes from doing a difficult job with total excellence. This shift in your mind turns the grind into a sacred habit that gives you a sense of calm and a clear purpose. When you are no longer a slave to the final result, you gain a freedom that allows you to work better than the desperate. You are building a relationship with greatness that is based on your effort, rather than the praise of the people around you. If you do not master the plateau, you will spend your whole life starting new things and quitting them when the fun wears off. This is the path of the amateur who loves the excitement of the beginning, but hates the long middle where the real growth happens. You see these people everywhere looking for a secret or a shortcut that will let them bypass the need for time and steady work. You must refuse to be like them.